Hello and welcome back. My last video, which was also my first, I did a review on a movie called Dolls. Came out in 1987 and it was directed by Stuart Gordon. So that house that the movie was filmed in was actually built for that movie. Stuart Gordon's next movie, which was From Beyond, was also filmed in this house. Now, From Beyond came out first. Dolls came out the year after, even though it was filmed before. Because of all the special effects, it took more time for them to put it together. So that's why they came out of succession. So just to show you that Dolls is on my shower curtain, here it is. And then, in a happy turn of fate, From Beyond, right there on the shower curtain. So that is going to be the movie that I talk about today. From Beyond was filmed in 1986. It was filmed in Italy, and they used an Italian crew because it saved on cost. So From Beyond is a H.P. Lovecraft short story and one of several that Stuart Gordon will direct. So amongst the gore and special effects of this movie is a machine called the Resonator that was built by two scientists, Edward Pretorius and Dr. Crawford Tillinghast. The resonator stimulates the pineal gland, which is believed to be the sixth sense, which allows people who are in close proximity of this machine while it's turned on to see beyond normal reality. So the first time that Crawford turns on this machine after it's completed, he sees a snake-like creature floating around, and it actually kind of reminds me of the three dream demons that were in Freddy's Dead, my favorite of the Freddy movies, by the way. And he sees him floating around. He's just looking at it in wonder, and then all of a sudden it floats down and it bites him on the cheek. He turns off the machine, and you can tell that he's looking at it like, maybe this isn't going to be the great thing they thought. So things spiral out of control as Edward then decides that he wants to try the resonator. He's overcome by the pleasure of this machine as his pineal gland is being stimulated. He even says to Crawford, "This is more than any man has ever seen." But then Crawford notices that the machine is starting to control itself. Crawford goes running out of the house and right into the arms of a couple of cops that are there to arrest him. The nosy neighbor lady has gone inside looking for her dog Bunny and finds her dog upstairs in the attic licking up the blood of Edward. His body is laying dead on the floor with his head removed. Crawford is then taken to a mental hospital to be evaluated where they believe he is schizophrenic. Then Dr. Catherine McMichaels, she shows up because they want her to do an evaluation on him to see if he's sane enough to stand trial for the murder of Edward. Catherine convinces the main doctor at this mental hospital, Dr. Block, to let her do a CT scan of Crawford's brain. In the CT scan, they see that his pineal gland has indeed grown, and Catherine believes that it is still growing. Catherine now believes it's possible that the experiment done by Edward and Crawford to stimulate the pineal gland did actually work. And so she wants to be able to recreate this experiment to prove this theory. Crawford reluctantly agrees to go back to the house with Catherine to help recreate this. They are going to be accompanied by Sergeant Buford Brownlee, also known as Bubba, back to the house on 666 Benevolent Boulevard. I love that address. I think it just adds so much to it. Crawford then fixes the resonator, which he damaged during the attack on Edward, which took his life. So turning this resonator back on, Catherine seems affected by it in much the same way that Edward was. Then, much to the surprise of everyone, Edward reappears with his head and explains that he never actually died, he just passed beyond. Edward immediately takes interest in Catherine, and Catherine has a very unhealthy interest in the resonator. So for the sake of experimentation, Catherine continues to use the resonator, but it's becoming apparent that she is obsessed with it to a very unhealthy level. What follows is some adult entertainment, some of it that kind of appears out of nowhere, so be careful if you're watching this movie with kids. There's I Sucking Good Times, there's body horror, and there's a lot of gore. It's got everything in it. This is a fun movie. Great special effects, especially for back in the 80s. You need to think that they didn't have CGI like we do now. They had to work with what they could build. So if you look at it that way, they have done an amazing job with these special effects. Stuart Gordon liked to cast the same actors for several of his movies because during his time in the theater, he was used to working with a company of actors and they all became comfortable working with each other and with him. So when he moved into movies, he wanted to do the same kind of thing. He wanted his actors to be comfortable working with each other right off the bat, therefore allowing them to take direction from him very well and very quickly. As an example, Jeffrey Combs, who played Crawford, Barbara Crampton, who played Catherine, and Carolyn Purdy Gordon, who is also the wife of Stuart Gordon, all played in the movies Reanimator and Castle Freak together, which was also directed by Stuart Gordon. Jeffrey Combs and Carolyn Purdy Gordon also acted in the 1991 film The Pit and the Pendulum together. Barbara Crampton and Ken Foree, who played Bubba, they acted in Rob Zombie's Lords of Salem together. And Ken Foree, Bubba, also acted in Rob Zombie's Devil's Rejects and the 2007 Halloween. The monster effects of this film were actually done by John Carl Buechler. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's done movies like Reanimator, Bride of Reanimator, and Dolls. I truly feel that he's right up there with Tom Savini, who everybody has heard of for a good reason. He's fabulous. But I do believe that From Beyond is one of those movies that, even though it was considered a box office flop, it became a big cult classic. If you haven't seen it, you've at least heard about it. Fun fact I wanted to remember to talk about in this video is the dominatrix outfit that Barbara Crampton wore during this movie. She actually kept that after filming was done, and a while later she ended up selling it in a yard sale. From Beyond actually has a sequel that was made in the 2000s. I haven't seen it. I've heard that it's good, I've heard it's bad, I've heard mixed feelings about it. It doesn't have the original actors. Apparently it's the descendants of people that were in it. It was a two-part miniseries, and again, I haven't seen it, but I think I will give it a shot. Something fun I've wanted to start doing is to rate the movies that I watched using a coffin instead of a star. So I didn't do that with my first video, so I'll do that now quickly. Dolls, 1987, I give that a 5 coffin rating. I can't not give it a 5 coffin rating because it is my all-time favorite horror movie. From Beyond, I would give this a solid 4 coffin rating. It had everything you would want in a horror movie. It's amazing. This being said, because my favorite genre of horror is 80s, you're going to see that I'm rating these movies probably a lot higher than you would if 80s is not your favorite genre. That's just how it is. I can't help it. I love them. So coffins are going to be flying all over the place. Thank you to everyone who has watched this video. I plan on putting out a video about once every week. That's my plan. So keep coming back for more. I already have my movie picked out for next week, which I'm really excited about. So feel free to leave questions, comments down below, and we'll see you next time.